Hey guys, what's going on? We got another Enhancement Shaman Mythic Plus video. We are back in the midst of Tirna Scythe because I was able to get it done on a 10. And we did miss a 11 Dawnbreaker by only a couple minutes, so that kind of sucked. I would have liked to have that one, but yeah. Anyways, this video is slightly sped up. So if you notice that it's a bit faster paced than usual gameplay, that is the reason why, just to get to go a little bit faster, because I know people tend to lose interest if it's too slow type of thing. But anyways, on to the real topic. Enhancement Shaman. So my question for you guys is, are you enjoying it? Whether you're playing Elementalist, whether you're playing Storm, which one do you prefer to play in which scenarios? Maybe you do PvP, maybe you do raiding as well, or just Mythic Plus. Which version do you prefer? My personal thing is Storm. I really enjoy Storm. Now, granted, there are very simplified builds with Storm where all you're doing is Storm Striking, but I really like this iteration that I have right now where I'm not just focused on Storm Striking, and I am not focused on resetting Storm Strike with Maelstrom. I am using Ice Strike and I'm using Hailstorm as well, and it adds kind of a nice flow, especially when you have that downtime from Storm Strike, because in the other build, if you didn't reset Storm Strike or, you know, proc it at all, it kind of felt bad, like you're just sitting there waiting for it. In this version, I'm not gonna lie, it feels really good. Even though I don't cast Ice Strike or Hailstorm all that much, to be honest, it is feeling better because it gives me that option for when I don't have that opportunity to cast Storm Strike, right? And having Root of Elements gives you more incentive to Storm Strike. Although that will be changing, but anyways, we'll get into that afterwards. But yeah, that's the reason why I like it more. In single target, same thing. It feels better, and I'm not worried about which feral spirits I have out. The only ones I'm worried about when I have out are the nature ones, because if I have nature ones, I would want to lightning bolt over elemental blast, right? But yeah, anyways, and the reason why I prefer Storm over Elementalist is literally the priority list. Now, don't get me wrong, I do agree that if you do the more difficult build, which is Elementalist in my opinion, and you can pull it off perfectly, and you get all that, you should be doing more damage, right? But at the same time, if you are failing to properly use your priority list type of thing and not getting it, then you will fall off very hard. That is the downfall to Elementalists, is if you make mistakes, you will feel them in your DPS meters, right? Which is completely fine and makes sense. And it's nice having a difficulty build and a simplified build. It is great. The reason why is because when new players come in that want to play Enhancement Shaman, or maybe people just want to alt it, right? It's very important to have a version of the spec that is easy to follow. Because I know a lot of people in Dragonflight, they turned away from having an alt Enhancement Shaman, or just having an Enhancement Shaman in general, or maybe they stepped away from it even because of Elementalist. It is a frustrating version of Enhancement to deal with, trust me. I can pull it off, but I don't like it at all. I wouldn't say I don't like it at all, but like I prefer Storm, it's just whatever. But in Mythic Plus, it does feel a bit better. I'm not going to lie. The reason why is you have Fire Nova, you have all that stuff. You have more guaranteed Maelstrom generation, where in Storm it's not so guaranteed, but at the same time, it does feel it because you're hitting so much, especially when Wind Fury procs. That is one of the reasons why I'm asking if you guys prefer, which version you prefer, or if you are enjoying Enhancement in general. My personal thing is I just love Enhancement Shaman. I love its flashiness and all that. So, but the build does really make a difference, because during Dragonflight, when I had to play Elementalist for 2 seasons in a row, when Storm wasn't even like a potential choice, it was just super duper frustrating because I hated having to try so hard. You know, you got these other classes such as Demon Hunter, or even I believe BM Hunter is also very simple and easy to follow, right? There's nothing too crazy, no priority list or
Embrace
anything
who
like
you
that, or
truly
even
are.
Ret Paladin maybe as well. It's very straightforward. Whereas Enhancement, I feel like it's a huge maze of what to do, right? You it depends on your feral spirits. If you have ice spirits, you want to go with your ice abilities. If you have fire spirits, you want to go with your lava abilities. You know what I mean? It's frustrating and you have to keep an eye on it. And your priority list is always bouncing around. And that is one thing that is super duper frustrating. But coming in the 11.0.5 patch is something I want to say is going to be a great addition to Enhancement, and I think it fixes a lot of things, specifically hero talents. And the reason why is because currently Totemic is only used in PvP. And even then,
Embrace who
I
you
think a
truly
majority of people are still running Stormbringer in PvP, which is just fine. Um, but that is the only time you ever see Totemic from Enhancement, is during PvP, myself included. I use it during a storm build for maximum Wind Fury damage. But why don't we use it in PvE? Well, that is because of movement and the extra action button, and it just doesn't do that much damage. Actually, it does, but it doesn't compete on the Stormbringer load. And also, the biggest one is it fights itself. And what I mean by that is it wants you to Storm Strike as well as Lava Lash at the same time. That is something that doesn't quite work. Now you see me running both Storm Strike and both Lava Lash, but when I say it wants you to Lava Lash and Storm Strike at the same time, I mean it literally wants you to spam the two non-stop. And that is because one, while Storm Totem is or Storm Surging Totem is down, your Storm Strike has a chance to proc an effect where it deals a little bit extra damage, but it increases the damage of your Surging Totem by 10% per stack while it's active. That will fall off once the totem despawns. And then at the same time, your Lava Lash has a chance to proc a Searing Totem, and then your Hailstorm or Fire Nova or even Lava Lash itself has a chance to proc a Searing Volley from that totem. So when I say it wants you to spam, it literally wants you to spam those two. And that's not something Enhancement has the option to do. And it is definitely a downfall. But coming in 11.0.5, major changes are coming to Totemic to bring it into the Elementalist style, which is great. The only downfall is Elementalist is now getting an extra button. And that's something that is silly.
embrace who you
Um,
truly are.
and the reason for that is because you're already working around this major priority list, and now you have to bring out another button that's almost like a it's very important because one, it hard triggers your hot hands after you Lava Lash or Fire Nova, and it just I don't remember what the other effects do if I'm being honest, but it brings a lot of bonus effects, which is great. It is a worthwhile cooldown to press. The problem is you have to press it. So one way to fix that would be to almost implement it into like Primordial Wave or something, I guess. But then becomes the deal of where is it going to be placed? I think it could be placed at the shaman where you're just erupting an earthquake type of thing, but I don't know. But that is one reason why I feel like elementalists might fall off. I do love the idea behind Totemic. I love it, and
Embrace who
the
you
changes
truly
are
are.
amazing, especially the hot hands changes where every time you during hot hands windows your lava lash does send a sunder. It looks really cool, and that'll be huge towards AoE packs in the elementalist style. But having that extra button is definitely going to put people away from having elementalists. So I think if Blizzard wants to fix that, they would have to find a way to incorporate it into a spell rather than another on-use effect. But at the same time, we have a choice node to choose between feral spirits or something else. Basically, what it means is you can use unused feral spirits, or you can have proc chance feral spirits, which I think is a very interesting choice. The way it works with our tier set with the additional feral spirit is if you summon a nature spirit, it will summon 2 nature spirits, and so on and so forth. I think this is a very interesting choice. I think it's going to be used a lot, especially since our Ancestral Bones got nerfed. That talent that reduces it, I think it's going to be a huge talent, and I am excited to play with it. But overall, yeah, I think maybe that might bring it back, removing a little bit of buttons, which is nice. But overall, I think that is one of the core issues with Totemic, is that it brings another button to the already over-bloated shamans. But yeah, onto Stormbringer, we are getting some great changes. We're getting 2 charges of Stormstrike, which is huge, massive. They are modifying the way Ascendance works a little bit, but I think overall it's in a good place because currently Root of Elements is procced by Stormstrike, which means Stormstrike is taking priority over everything but a 10 stack Tempest, which is not very good. With Maelstrom being our core spender, it's not a good idea to have a generator ability be prioritized over spending Maelstrom. And the reason why is because you're overcapping, and that doesn't really make sense, right? You're wasting Maelstrom. So what's happening in the patch is Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning now have a chance on cast. That is a very important part of the note. On cast to proc Ascendance. And the reason why it's on cast now is because of Primordial Wave and Chain Lightning. Before, it was, I believe it was on damage or something like that. So essentially, when you Primordial Waved, you were almost guaranteed a Ascendance proc because you had so many Lightning Bolts going out at once. And then Chain Lightning had, I think, 3 or 4 chances to proc it for each hit, which isn't like crazy, but at the same time that would kind of throw things out of whack for Enhancement. You would probably get a lot during Mythic Plus scenarios. But I think that is a great change because now Maelstrom spenders are going to actually be prioritized over Stormstrike, which is great. And at the same time, the changes to Stormbringer could still allow some form of Elementalist style to be played, which is going to be very interesting. So we could see some massive, weird builds going on with Enhancement. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Enhancement. I want to know your guys' thoughts on everything. Do you enjoy the current version? Are you more or less looking forward to the newer version that's coming? Or did you give up on Enhancement in general due to what it has become in a sense? But on to the next topic is Keystones. So, Keystones, very, very interesting. After all my experience, I have done lots of pugs. I have done lots with my groups and stuff like that. Keystones have been a big, have had a massive change since Dragonflight. 1, they are now going from 2 to 10, which is just fine. But the biggest part becomes the difficulty difference between each key level. A 2 to a 3 might not feel a lot, but you do gain that beneficial effect from Xalatath. 3 to a 4 is a bit of a bigger jump, and then because I believe you get Tyrannical or Fortified or one of those things, right? Pretty big jump. And then on a 7, you get a massive hit with the Death Timer buff. Basically going from removing 5 seconds to removing 15. So, which does make sense. It makes higher keys a bit more difficult, and you shouldn't be dying to skip stuff. The other thing is going to be the jump from 9 to 10. And this is another big jump because you are now gaining both Tyrannical and Fortified. This is a big difference. And then the biggest difference of them all is 11 to 12. And the reason why this is the biggest difference to them all is because you lose Xalatath's buff. You no longer get that. And that is actually a massive difference, increasing the key difficulty by like 100% or something. And I believe you also get a different affix that's even more painful, maybe, or you just go down to the Challenger's Bargain with Tyrannical and Fortified. But that becomes very, very difficult, and understandably, it is for the ones that really want to push their keys, right? They want to go for those rank 1 titles, which is very interesting. And I kind of agree with the fact that there shouldn't be any almost outside source that helps or hurts you in a sense. It's just the key, which is great, with just a higher death timer or higher death penalty, I guess. So, but that difference is significant, and throughout the entire key upgrading system, I don't feel like the rewards are quite worth it in a sense. The only reward worth it would be the 10 key out of the vault. I feel like rewards have gone down a little bit. Maybe that's just me from Mythic Plus, but I do believe I remember them saying they were going to nerf the rewards from Mythic Plus because they felt like something was wrong. They wanted to split up Mythic Plus and rating. In my opinion, I think that's kind of silly because there's always going to be that best in slot trinket from Mythic Plus. There's also going to be a best in slot trinket from Raid that counter or that works with it in a sense. And you also get your tier set and stuff faster from the Raid as well. And I think most people that push Mythic Plus raid, and most people that raid typically do Mythic Plus as well, right? So it seems really weird to punish people that do both. I think if you only do one set of content, you should be punished for one. Because personally, I do both PvE and PvP, and I'm being punished in a sense, a lot less than before. But I get punished because I have to choose my my bonus piece. So when you get your Keystone Hero, you're 1600 rated in PvP, or you're ahead of the curve. Now, none of these, in my opinion, are equal to each other in achievement level. They are completely out of bounds. Like, 1600, in my opinion, is probably the easiest one to get from PvP. That's just me saying it. 2K from Mythic Plus is a lot easier to achieve than AOTC from Raid. So I think maybe they could look into that a bit more, because in my personal opinion, 1600 from PvP should be equal to about normal Raid difficulty, and probably around, I want to say right now, maybe 1700 Mythic Plus rating. So I don't know. I just feel like you don't get any value from Mythic Plus outside of the vault. Now, when you get to a level 9, yeah, you get Hero Track, which is equal to Heroic Gear, which is fine. But it's getting there. Like, the difficulty level between a 7 and a 9 is quite significant. I feel like majority of the community that pushes Mythic Plus right now are still around a 6 or a 7, right? So, and if you're getting that gear, I don't feel like it's helping you in any way. I feel like it's too low to try and push even higher, which is quite ridiculous in my opinion. I think the gear level might need a good look at, but that's just me. I don't know. But yeah. Although I have to say, through this entire experience of the War Within, it has been a wonderful expansion so far. The addition to warbands was amazing. How to level alt so fast is amazing, as well as being able to share gear and stuff between characters much, much faster. All of this is great, and I think with the new affixes of Mythic Plus and stuff, I think it's also a great addition too. And the PvP crafted system, all that, all amazing things that have happened, and they can only get better, right? And I'm not saying these things because I want to bring Blizzard down. I'm saying these because it's just me giving out a potential idea to them that maybe they could take a look at and stuff like that. But overall, I think they've done a wonderful job with The War Within. Everything has been great. The storyline was great, wasn't too long, wasn't too demanding or anything like that, right? So I'm a guy that does not like questing at all. So yeah, you can take that from me. I didn't mind doing the storyline at all. But yeah, that's those are my opinions on everything. So again, let me know your thoughts on Enhancement Shaman, and let me know your thoughts on the Mythic Plus season as well, or maybe Raid or Mythic or PvP, whatever you do. Let me know, because I really do want to hear what the community is talking about, especially maybe if you do more higher keys than I do, or maybe you're stuck in the lower keys. I don't know, but yeah, let me know your thoughts on everything. But anyways, guys, that is it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you are enjoying The War Within as much as I am, and I really hope you continue playing Enhancement Shaman. But anyways, thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Laters!